Closing arguments have started for a North Carolina federal trial over a newly implemented voter identification law. The new law, House Bill 589, took effect on January 1st and requires citizens to show a state-issued photo ID before casting a ballot. Now, the U.S. Justice Department, NAACP, and the League of Women Voters are arguing that this law is racially discriminatory to Black and Latino citizens who are less likely to have a photo ID or the means of acquiring it. Now, one of the senior attorneys for the NAACP in this case, her name is Danita Judge, she had this to say: "We believe that the legislature intentionally passed a law that would discriminate against African Americans and Latinos, and potentially one of the reasons is the rising electorate and more participation by people of color." Now, Nick, this could have serious implications for the election in 2016. Mm-hmm. You know, we've seen a lot of the states in the South in 2008, they went Democrat. You know, this could be a ploy. Do you think this is a ploy to, you know, kind of squelch some of that, push some of that down the voting?
Well, it's hard to say, you know, just based off of this, but it does not come to a surprise to me at all that this is happening in a state like North Carolina. Yeah, so look, their whole mentality is, you know, you did it to us with Obama, you're not going to do it again. The minorities tend to vote Democrat, and that's obviously something that they're scared of happening again. But at the same time, it's just so sad. I mean, you kind of mentioned it. You took it back into history, but you know, we're all treated equally under the law in this country, but there's still so many loopholes that allows you know, people to get their way if they want to do something like this. For example, if they want to make sure if a certain state, for example, wants to make sure that their minorities have a harder time voting, they can do it because of loopholes in the law, and it's so sad. And you know what? It doesn't stop with the voting; it goes across the board. Everything from voting rights all the way to, you know, having the capability of growing marijuana. In Florida, for example, I did a story where you know, certain farmers who are Black have a harder time acquiring these licenses because, again, that would take us back into history, but there's all sorts of loopholes and stuff where, you know, they can stop them from doing that. So it's really across the board, and it's really sad, and this is just another way that it shows.
Yeah, this instance is exactly that. It's a blatant excuse for the North Carolina legislature to sort of take advantage of this loophole created by the 2013 Supreme Court ruling that invalidated the federal oversight of states that had a history of discrimination against people of color before they could change their voting laws. And so with this, North Carolina is saying, you know, we're going to put this into practice, much like a lot of the states in the Deep South after the Voters' Rights Act that had minorities take literacy tests before they could actually prove to vote. So it's just another instance in a long history of voter disenfranchisement. And hopefully with this trial underway, the people of North Carolina will realize that there's a lot more to lose with this process.